Hello everyone, I hope this video finds you well. Today, I'll be narrating for my group on our topic, commas. So in this PowerPoint presentation, we'll go in depth on when to use commas and where to place them. But first off, we'll have to define what a comma is. Now, a comma is a punctuation that signals a pause in writing or reading. So when do you use commas? Well, for starters, use a comma before any coordinating conjunction that link two independent clauses. You might know coordinating conjunctions as fanboys, for, and, nor, but, for, yet, so. Example, I went running, comma, and I saw a duck. I went running, I saw a duck. The above are both independent clauses which are joined by the coordinating conjunction and. Therefore, a comma is placed before the conjunction. If the second I in the sentence were to be removed, the second clause would lack a subject, making it not a clause and would no longer need a comma. Number 2. Use a comma after a dependent clause that starts a sentence. And this is important. This comma has to go after a dependent clause. When I went running, comma, I saw a duck. The beginning is the dependent clause. The end is an independent clause. A dependent clause is a grammatical unit that contains both subject and verb but cannot stand on its own. When I went running, for example. If a dependent clause ends the sentence, a comma is not needed. However, it can be added for emphasis, usually when negation occurs. Use commas to offset apositives from the rest of the sentence. Positive acts as synonyms for juxtaposed word or phrases. While running, I saw a mallard, kind of duck. The apositive, a kind of duck, gives more information about the mallard. If the apositive occurs in the middle of the sentence, both sides of the phrase need a comma. Example, a mallard, comma, a kind of duck, comma, attack me. However, there is an exception to every rule. Do not offset a phrase that gives necessary information to the sentence. For example, the duck that attacked me scared my friend. This sentence has an error in diction. That attack me is essential information and therefore needs a comma. Number 4. Use commas to separate items in a series. Now, this is something that everyone has to know that you've reached this level in English. You always need a comma when you're arranging a series. A magician, comma, a liquor store. Notice how there's a coordinating conjunction. When you have to use the word and, that is when you don't need a comma anymore. That signals that you do not need to add another comma. That's when you stop. Number 5. Use a comma after introductory adverbs. This also goes for transitional words. Words such as in addition, therefore, however. When starting a sentence, when you're using these words, you need a comma afterwards to separate from what you're saying. Finally, I went running. For example, another example could be, however, comma, I went running. Another example, therefore I went running. Whenever you're using introductory adverbs or transitional words or phrases, you always need a comma to separate it from the rest of the sentence. Use a comma when attributing quotes. The commas are dependent on where the attribution takes place. If it comes before the quote, place the comma outside the quotation. The runner said, I saw a duck. If it comes after the quote, put the comma inside the quotation marks. I saw a duck, said the runner. Use a comma to separate each element in address, also after a city-state combination within a sentence. This kind of works exactly like separating series. You separate states, towns, things like that. You can even go to streets, such as 257 Park Avenue. Use a comma to separate the elements in a full date. weekday, month, and day, also year. You also separate a combination of those elements from the rest of the sentence with commas. So just like that last piece, March 15th, 2013, was a strange day. The March 15th, 2013 is separate. You also need a comma to separate it from was a strange day. There is an exception to this rule where if you only have a month and a year, you don't need a comma. You don't need a comma to separate the two. Number 9, use a comma when the first word of the sentence is freestanding. Yes or no. Example, yes, I saw a duck when I went running. Other example, no, the duck didn't bite me. Number 10, use a comma when directly addressing someone or something. Now this is something that a lot of writers might not know. When you're directly addressing someone, you need a comma to separate it from your sentence. My teacher often asks, comma, quotation marks, John, is your work done? You need the comma to separate it to know that you're talking about another person and this is being said to that person. 11. Use a comma between two adjectives that modify the same noun. Jill the cute, comma, refined girl lives across from me. Now this is easy to pick up because without the comma, it sounds like it has an error in diction. Jill the cute, refined girl lives across from me. To seasoned writers and native English speakers, you can hear that something's not quite right with that sentence. And that little pause, Jill the cute, refined girl lives across from me, makes it 10 times more appealing. Makes the sentence sound good. Number 12. Use a comma to offset negation in a sentence. Saw Jill, comma, not John, comma, when I went to the party. In this case, you still need a comma if the negation occurs at the end of the sentence, however. For example, I saw John, not Jill. You still need the comma. Finally, last rule that everyone should know. It is basically math. When you're using numbers while you're writing, you put a comma after the number 999. So after 999, you need a comma. So instead of 1000, it would be 1,000. For example, 10,000. So yeah. So this is a quick quiz on everything that has been taught. You can go back in the beginning of the video just to pause and read the PowerPoints. I'll give you the option to pause right now so you can read the questions, and in a second I'll move it to the next slide that'll give you the answers. And these are the answers for the quiz. Thank you very much for your time, and I really hope that this video was informative, and have a nice day.